San
make sure you
Francisco
go
Half
west,
Marathon.
past the start line, past the porta potties, you'll find the solutions tent, you'll get your bib.
6
Make sure you
years
pin it to the
since the last
outermost
ran this
layer
race.
of your
But
clothing
today,
that you're going to be wearing as you cross the finish line.
Today is just going to
wanna
be
make sure that you
a
have
training
all of
run.
your photos will be
Maybe
bib recognized.
marathon pace,
So we want to make sure
maybe
you have
slightly
your
slower,
bib on you
just
on
to
your
make sure
outermost
that
layer.
my injury is
Thank you to Marathon Photos
completely
for providing. Inside there are will call tents. Make sure you pick up your bib. I know that there are a lot of you who still don't have your bib. 5K runners, we're going to have you.
By the dawn's early light, what so proudly we hailed at the twilight's last gleam, whose broad stripes bombs bursting in air gave proof through the night that our flag was still there. Oh, say does that star-spangled banner yet wave o'er the lands of the free and the home of the brave.
4, 3, 2, 1, go and enjoy your race. Congratulations, everybody. Have a wonderful day out there today. We're so proud of you. Enjoy your day. There are over 10,000 runners out there on the course today.
Alright, here we go. As I mentioned, this is a training run. So what I am thinking is to run close to marathon pace for the first 10 miles. And in the last 3 miles, just run easy. Let's see how it goes. This is the first race that I'm running since my injury in early November. In fact, I had 3 do not start between that race that I injured my hamstring and now. And usually I'll start out a little stronger, but today I am so concerned about my hamstring. You can see that I'm starting a lot slower than the other runners in my area. I had no idea that I'm running slower than 7:30 per mile pace until I look at my watch for the first time. The San Francisco Half Marathon course is a very interesting one. When the weather is good, it can be a PR course. In fact, it is my PR course. In 2010, I ran 1:27:40-ish, and that still remained my PR. Obviously, I was running very well when I was in my early 40s. But however, the weather could be very interesting. In some years, it's pouring, lots of rain, very heavy. And in some years, when we get to the Great Highway, the wind is like 30-40 miles strong and makes it really hard in the last few miles. The last time I ran this race was 2020. It's just before the pandemic. Just about 2.5 months before the London Marathon that I was supposed to run, if not because of the pandemic. I was in awesome shape. I just ran a really nice PR a couple of weeks before the race, and I was running very fast, breaking a lot of my personal best in some other courses. However, I didn't have a very good race. Actually, for the first 10 miles, I was running awesome. For the first 10 miles of the San Francisco Half Marathon, I was close to 6:40 per mile. It's only after we turned around on Great Highway, the headwind was so strong. Basically, I was with the group, sub 130 group, and we were blown apart. After we turned around, heading up north back to Golden Gate Park, I think there's nobody left with the pace group. A couple of years ago, I signed up for this race again, and I was hoping that I could run a pretty nice half marathon just ahead of my full year of races that I was planning to run. But unfortunately, the weather was so terrible the week leading up to the race, and the race had to be cancelled. We were asked to just run 13 miles on our own, and we can just let them know we have done it, and then we'll get our medal. And I did get the medal, but I didn't run the race. So you can see that weather is highly unpredictable for this course. If weather is right, you will have a good chance to run a PR. In recent years, I rarely go up to San Francisco, live about an hour south of the city. Almost forgot how beautiful it could be. Look at the beautiful sunrise. And you can see we are running east right now, and we will be out of the Golden Gate Park pretty soon. When I signed up for this race back in December, I thought my hamstring would be recovered much earlier, much faster, and I would be running a strong half marathon 4 weeks before Tokyo Marathon. Well, I didn't realize it has taken me a lot more time to recover from my hamstring injury. In fact, I was relatively pain-free only about 2-3 weeks ago. And I was able to do a bit harder training, started just a few weeks ago as well. Alright, we are out of Golden Gate Park, making 2 90-degree turns, and we'll head back to Golden Gate Park. And we are just a little bit before the 2-mile mark. I have increased the pace a little from 7:30-ish down to about 7:25 or so. Alright, the 2-mile mark is here, but I can't believe I missed it during the run, so I didn't get my second mile split.
Alright, 3 mile. Coming up. 20 to 15. Definitely slow. That is okay. Today, just about finishing without getting injured.
22:15 for 3 miles. That is 7:25 per mile. That is way too slow. I have to pick it up a little bit more. So today, there are actually 3 races happening at the same time. There is the 5K race as well as the 10K race. So sometimes you'll see some runners running at slower paces. That's because we start to merge together, and they're likely either the 5K runners or the 10K runners. The course seems to be a little bit different from the one that I ran in previous years. It looks like they were a little bit more convoluted and slightly longer course once we got back to the Golden Gate Park. And that means that we are running slightly shorter in the Great Highway, which can be a good thing because Great Highway usually gives people the most problem, particularly when it's very windy. However, the twists and turns and almost U-turns does make the part in the Golden Gate Park again slightly slower than previous years as well. After running relatively slow first 3 miles at about 7:25 per mile, I did speed up to about 7:08 for the 4th mile. The 5th and 6th mile was a little slower than I would like. The 2-mile split is 14:36, so roughly about 7:18. So a little faster than the first 3 miles, but the next 3 miles is a little bit faster, but maybe not fast enough. Well, you can see that the course is now splitting into the half marathon course to the right and a 10K course to the left. For the 10K runners, they are almost done. They just have to turn left, go through a little bit more, and then they'll get to the finish line. For the half marathon runners, we've still got about 7 miles more to go. The finish line is not very far away from here in the Golden Gate Park. So you see that there are a lot more enthusiastic fans in this area. But for us, the half marathoners, we have to get out of the park and head to the west side of the park and run another 5-6 miles on the Great Highway.
4th mile, 7:08 in range.
A small waterfall and a dragon on our right. Unfortunately, at this point, I forgot I still have my camera on, so I left it on for probably another 7-8 minutes. Pretty much used up most of my battery, and I couldn't get the footage for the last few miles as well as the finish line. You can see the 7-mile mark on my right in the video, but when I was running the race, I missed it as well. And special thanks to all the volunteers that help us today. Oops, I missed. In the old course, we would have turned left onto the Great Highway before the 7-mile mark. As mentioned just a little earlier, we already seen the 7-mile mark, but we are still inside the Golden Gate Park. Definitely means that we will be running a lot less on the Great Highway, which is good. I don't mind it. And for the 4 miles, mile 7 to mile 10, I did average sub 7 minute per mile pace. And obviously this light downhill didn't hurt either. Since I ran out of battery, I didn't get any footage on Great Highway or the finish. But the good news is that I was able to maintain, as I mentioned, from mile 7 to mile 10, a sub 7 mile minute pace. So I caught up quite a bit after a very slow start. I hit the 10 mile mark at about 1 hour 11 minute 44 seconds. That's right about 7:10 per mile. Pretty close to my marathon pace, so that is definitely a good 10 mile MP run. I did take it very easy in the last few miles, just somewhere between 7:30 to just under 8 minutes per mile. Actually, we did get a little bit of footage on the Great Highway. We are about to make the left turn on the Great Highway. Ahead of us, this is the Pacific Ocean. Very gorgeous view for sure. With the last few miles slightly easier, somewhere between 7:30 to 8 minute pace, I did finish the half marathon in 1 hour 35 minutes and 40 seconds. That is about 7:18 per mile. Not a bad run at all, considering that this is my first race after my injury in early November. Mission accomplished, no injury today.